Hello everyone. How you guys doing? I am so happy to announce I have no more shiny Reborn baby. Before I get started, I did want to tell you guys that this is not a tutorial. I will link the video that I watched. I'll have it across the screen, and I'll also link it in the description because I think she does a very good job of explaining what you need to do, the materials you need and everything like that. So I will link that in the description. I'm going to tell you my experience doing it. So that's what we're going to talk about, how I got rid of her shine. For everyone who is new, I'm Reborn Love is Real. How you doing? And this is my baby girl toy. Let me show her. She holds on to me, you guys. I love that. She just holds on to me. Hey, this is my mini me. So you guys, this is Toy. There she is. Oh, that face. I love that face. So cute. So I've had Toy about 9 years, and she was very shiny. Very shiny. And everyone in the community says it's so easy. You just do this, you just do that, and the shine will be gone. I was so scared. I was so scared. I did not want to mess this baby up. You guys, I love this baby. I love this baby. And I thought about recording when I did varnish her or matte her. I was so scared. It was so emotional. I kept talking to her. I did not take her apart. I did not take her apart. I do not like taking her apart. She is my baby. I do not like taking her apart. So I did strip her clothes. I took her headband off. And so it was just her cloth body. And I was talking to her. I was like, it's okay, baby. It tickles a little bit. I was talking to her. I was so emotional. I did not want to mess her up. Whew. So follow the instructions from the tutorial that I linked you guys. And it does work. It does work. There's no more shine. She used to be really shiny on the bottom of her feet. That's a glare from the light. So that is not shine. Number 2, the way to know the difference between shine and the light is move. And if it's in the same spot, then it's shine. If it doesn't move, then that means it's the light. So her legs were shiny. I mean, her feet were shiny. Her toes were really shiny. Her knees were shiny. This little part right here, her chin, because I give her kisses, her chin was shiny. Her nose, her cheeks, her hands were very shiny, as you can see. No more shine. No more shine. No more shine on her elbows. That's just a glare from the light. She is not shiny at all. I am really happy that she is no longer shiny. But what I made a mistake is I went over it too many times. I will say that. I was like, oh, it's still shiny. I went over it before it dried. And let me show you the product that I used. In the video, she used Liquitex, but I used Deco Art. And I just got this little 2-ounce bottle from Walmart. No, I couldn't find it at Walmart. I got this at Michael's. And it was maybe $2, $3. And I used maybe 4 dime sizes of it on a little plate. And I overdid it. So let it dry completely. Let it dry completely before you add more. Because if you add more, it'll look like dry skin. And you see dry skin on a baby, you just want to peel it. It's going to start peeling off like real dry skin. And you're like, now what do I do? So I did that once while I was still matting her, and I was able to put the varnish. Is this varnish? Yeah. I was able to put the varnish on it again and kind of blend it in. So I did do that. Now, she does have a texture to her now. Before, she was really shiny and just I could feel the vinyl. But now it's like a little texture. It's not bad, but I'm still getting used to it because before there was no texture. She was just really shiny and just vinyl. So now there is a little texture. I want to say it feels not chalky, but almost chalky. So it's taking me a little while to get used to it. I did this, I think, 3 days ago, and I've had her in a sleeper. So today I'm just feeling on her, playing with her, feeling her fingers, feeling her hands, playing with her little feet. So I'm just handling her today, and she looks kind of dry. I will say that. It looks kind of dry. You can't really see it on camera, and I'm glad about that. But there's no shine, but she does look some little dry spots. Like that's a little dry. Her forehead is a little dry. Again, I think that's because I over matted her. Oh, my baby. I love that face. I think I over matted her. So make sure you use just a little amount, and do one coat on the shiny spots, and then let it completely dry. Now it is air dry, so I would say give it an hour. I'm sure it'll dry in like 15-30 minutes, but give it an hour before you apply another coat to make sure that you don't need another coat and that you don't over mat her. Now I did over mat her on her feet. I probably went over her feet 4 times. They were really, really shiny. Now it's not as bad. You can't see it as much on her feet as in other areas of her body. It looks kind of dry, kind of chalky. So that is my experience with using this varnish. I don't know if Liquitex is different, or the different types of varnish out there have a different feel to them after you finish using them, after you finish applying it. But I'm just telling you guys my experience. So when I did go over it just once, it did have a very positive result, and that was her chin area. I was like, oh, it's all gone. So I went over her chin. It doesn't look dry. It looks perfect. It looks perfect. So I would say do one coat very lightly and let it dry completely. I can't state that enough, because you'll be like, oh, it still looks shiny. Wait. I did not wait. I don't want y'all to have your baby looking a little dry, or a little, we don't want to say the A word, we don't want to say ashy. I don't want your baby looking like that. You're like, ooh, Reborn Love is Real said put multiple coats. Do not. I did not say that. Do not put multiple coats. Wait for your baby to dry completely. After I did do the multiple coats, I did let her dry for multiple hours. So I think I put the varnish around 4 p.m. I didn't really handle her until 8 p.m. I put her sleeper back on. It was cold at night. I couldn't handle it. I needed her to have some clothes on. Yes. Another tip. I did this, you guys. So I didn't have her on a blanket. I had her on some newspaper. So the newspaper has, you know, words, lettering, coloring. So it was on, like, her arm was on, I let it lay down on some black part of the newspaper, and it did transfer the dye. I caught it before it made a permanent mark on her. So just be cognizant of what you're laying your baby on. If the varnish is wet and you lay your baby on that particular fabric or on that particular whatever, it could transfer the dye. So I ended up holding her like this. I had her arms out so she wouldn't touch anything. I just had her like this. And I was sitting at a table, so after her legs dried, I did sit her down on the table, because I would do one foot, go to the next foot, then I would go to her arm, I would go to her hand, then I would go to her other hand. So these would be dry, these would be wet, and her feet would be dry. So I just sat her, she sat down, a big girl, she sat down on the table while her arms dried and her fingers dried. So just be careful about dye transfer. Of course, if you're comfortable with disassembling your baby, emptying out all the contents of the limbs, that would be preferred. If you know how to reassemble your baby and you feel comfortable disassembling them to mat them to get rid of the shiny spots, that would be preferred. Like me, I was very emotional. I do not like taking toy apart. I love her all together. I do know how to disassemble them. I don't like disassembling toy. So take their limbs off, put them on something. There's little stands, or you can buy like a bottle cleaner stand where you wash the bottles and you just put them to dry. You can get that and set their limbs on it, and you can mat their limbs that way. So that was my experience, you guys. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it. I mean, I'm touching her. I'm touching her everywhere. I'm touching her everywhere that I varnished, everywhere that I put the product. I'm just touching her and just getting used to the feel of it. It's not bad. It's not a bad texture, but it does take some getting used to. Her ears were shiny. I did one coat on her ears. Her ears look perfect, just like her chin. Yes, so that is my experience, you guys. Oh, I love my little mini me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Say bye-bye.